I think Nigeria's trade channel structure can be described as very traditional. It is fragmented. It's estimated to be about 1.2 million stores that FMCG products have to go through, traditional FMCG stores have to go through. The fragmentation means that you have a lot of smaller size stores and they make up about 95% of the stores. In terms of contribution, the traditional stores deliver about 95% to sales. The other 5% is the modern trade. And that modern trade is the big superstores and supermarkets that are now evolving and e-commerce. But those are in the early phases. But overall, the Nigeria's trade channel for FMCG is very traditional and very fragmented. Nigeria is a very large country. We have nearly 200 million people. You do have 1.2 million stores, like I said. But what happens is that this evolution with modern trade starting to grow in terms of contribution is actually across Nigeria. So when you come into Lagos, you have a lot of stores from ShopRite, Spar, Urban or Hubmart, Grocery Bazaar. They are in their own right, these are modern stores. But the open market still holds sway in the neighborhood stores. If you go to Southwest, you have Foodco, you have Ceci stores in Akure. So in the regions you do have. If you go to Southeast, you have stores like Robin stores having about 5 stores, now expanding modern trade structure. If you come to Southside, you have everyday store there, you have Market Square. They're also playing their own part. If you go to the north, you have Sahad stores, which is very traditional modern store. So you can say that traditional structure is across Nigeria, but also the modern trade evolution is also across all the regions of Nigeria. I think many things will influence evolution. Number one, as economy evolve, as exposure evolve, as the shopper and consumer gets smarter, you're going to have a break. So you have a large number of shoppers who prefer the traditional space, but also you have that small number that are breaking out, the upper middle class, wanting to buy from a modern store that they're used to in other parts of the world. But the key thing is product owners can also influence modern trade to evolve a bit more. As you launch products in the space where you need modern trade to evolve, like ice cream makers need cold room storage. You now have fresh food that you have to store properly. So that's making some of the traditional stores now go modern and evolve to be able to carry this kind of product. But overall, it's about growth in the economy, makes people consume more. You have a lot of upper middle class consumers that want to go through more modern trade. E-commerce is also playing its part, but the big base remains the very traditional open market and neighborhood stores. Those ones will not die, they are part of our culture, so companies better learn and appreciate how to play in that space because they'll be here for a long time. It's very positive for brand owners that take time to study and understand what is changing. But brand owners that stay in the past may lose the plot. But also for brand owners, about you making your decision. You could decide to play only in the traditional space. You can also decide to play in traditional and modern, or you stay in modern. You can stay with e-commerce only. So it provides option. An option is always good for everyone. But the advice is for brand owners to spend time, get the data and insight, analyze this, understand it and choose where you play. If you want to play across, nothing wrong with that, but you have to understand the implication of doing that, either playing across or playing in select channel. If you look at the way modern trade has evolved, or generally trade structures have evolved, it's a state of what you're going to see is it will continue to morph. Morph means that it will be slow evolution. It will not be overnight. Traditional trade in Nigeria will continue to be majority, 85–90%, because you also have to look at number one, you have to look at the consumer and spending income levels. With GDP per capita not growing as fast, you have more people staying at the bottom end, meaning that there'll be a lot of brands trying to play at the bottom end, and bottom end brands do better in the traditional space. Also, modern trade, the cost of setup is quite high. So unless the economy is growing at an appreciable level, people are not willing to put that big cost in setting up infrastructure for modern trade. E-commerce in Nigeria has come in and is thriving in a lot of ways, but it hasn't fared as good. The contribution is still very insignificant. Over time, the forecast is that traditional trade will hold sway in Nigeria. But a lot of the traditional trade stores, many of them will start to look a bit more modern. So you're going to have a traditional modern trade structure in Nigeria, controlling about 20-25%, but the base traditional markets stay at nearly 2/3 of the market.